I don't see as much as the catcher does. So you got to have a good catcher that understands, like, hey, he's calling this far out. Okay, good. Let's keep hammering that spot until they adjust, right? So what I always did with calling pitches is, once we got to an age, like 10, we might call a little bit at 9 with some, just with some things. I think it's, so what I did is I usually know your pitchers. Some of them have, at 12, it's fastball, curveball, changeup usually, or whatever they have. This year Michael Patano had 7 pitches somehow, and I had to get him down to 3. So what I did is I kept it simple. I did a simple system where I did one of 2 things. Like at the youth level, when I just didn't call, I just called location. So I tap my nose. That's outside fastball. Tap my nose. If I go twice, it's 2 off the plate. So I teach them, like, 1 is on the corner, 2 taps is off the plate. If I go 3, it's even farther off the plate. Okay, it's like an 0-2. I always tap my head for high fastball. Chin was inside, chin music. Okay, normally kids don't want to come inside because the guys are on the plate like this, and the umpire never calls an inside strike, ever. I swear to God, they don't call this pitch, but they'll call that outside of 3. So maybe at the college level they do a better job of that, Dave, but at the youth and high school level they don't call this much. Some umps, okay? So normally I'm just looking at their swing, and if I feel like they're pull happy and they're pulling off the ball and going away, you know, and I'm calling a fastball away just by a nose tap or chin or this, and then my off speed, like this was changeup, this was curveball. Okay, that's the changeup, curveball. Okay, that was it. That's it. That's more of the rudimentary way. Now I've also done like numbers, like middle sign. Middle sign, 1 fastball, 2 curve, 3 change. So I go. So it's like curveball outside or fastball outside. Okay, so it's a middle sign, 1, 2, or 3, and then I tap location here, outside, inside, high. Okay. Normally my guys can't spot their breaking balls up, so I just throw it. Right. So I just throw it. You know, a good time to like youth ball, like fastballs out and up are tough to hit. Okay. A lot of times we can't hit that spot. You might have some pitchers. I've seen some pitchers that can, like Jackie. Like you can work away with him, and he obviously can hit those spots pretty well. Sometimes, most of the time. You're gonna know if that guy's dialed in on the day, and where the umpire is giving it to you. So that's big. At the 12 and 13U level, if you face good teams, sometimes my 2, 3, 4 hitters or 5 hitters, they're gearing up for fastballs 1-0, 2-0. A lot of times I'll pitch backwards. I'll throw a changeup curveball 1-0, 2-0. If I have 3-hole hitter, if I go 3-0, it is what it is. Sometimes I'll do that. I think a good changeup 2-1, 1-0 start the count is really good because it keeps the hitter honest. You don't want to be predictable every 2-0, 2-1 count throwing a fastball. That's more for our older guys getting to high school because you're going to have to pitch backwards in high school to be successful. You got to throw off speed at any time. Okay? When you're young, when you can't throw strikes, it's a little different. Right? And sometimes we'll take a walk when we got a guy that's crushing the ball, right? Where we'll maybe throw a changeup 1-0, 2-0, or 2-1. Need to add to that, Dave, as a hitter?
Any pointers on the off-speed pitch? Teaching kids that one?
Yeah. Change-up?
Yeah.
So and this is what saved my career. So if you throw, like there's a couple ways I threw mine. I just started with a circle change. And I just thought of okay sign. And then I would try to get my fingers on the ball more. So I would get like this, just place it just barely on with my thumb off. And it depends on their hands and how big they are. Yeah. And then I would go two seam with my fingers. And I wouldn't use my thumb more as a guide. And sometimes I would have it off, depending on how I felt that day. But I would think about my changeup. Okay, so that's kind of how I threw it. I kept it in my fingers. Don't feel it in your palm ever. And I thought about a floppy wrist and not like Not like something where I don't want to squeeze it. I want a floppy wrist, loose wrist. And on a fastball, we're full intent, right? We're ripping the pitch, we're full intent. On a changeup, it's the same arm speed, just not full intent, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking about my changeup, just throwing it and throwing it through. Okay, so when you're playing long toss, is a good time for kids to experiment with changeups. Is just throw like 90 feet and just get that rip and let their arm work. Just don't throw it full intent. And then I always thought like pronate a little bit. So I'm thinking about fingers, O to the batter, and pronate. So you're really trying to get, and a good changeup should be the same arm speed. You're not slowing it down. Just I see guys choke the heck out of it and throw it as hard as they can, and then it's not good. It's just more or less just coming off your fingers.
Okay. Off your ring finger, right? Or your middle finger?
Middle and ring. Yeah. Yep, right here. Off that. Or ring, I'm sorry, ring finger, yes. You guys think how I threw it. Like I threw this all the time in college, and it was the best pitch I had. And the biggest thing I threw it, if you're struggling to kind of find command, you can also drag your back foot. It slows you down and just pulls you down. Okay? So
Curl your toes.
yep. So try to really throw that long toss is the best way to learn to change up. Get a change up at a young age if you can. I would really highly recommend it, because if you got a hot change up going into 12, 13, 14, it's really good. Change up's a great pitch if you can execute it.
And you said, Jeff, you were rolling it. How were
Yep,
you?
pronate. Yep. So you're not. Now my son Caleb throws his. It's called a kick change. He just spikes his finger back like that, and he just feels pressure and pushes down on it. And he's got a really good changeup. I can't do that. I don't know. That's another way to throw it. Tread Athletics. You Google kick change, they'll show you how to throw it. It's a really good pitch too. I just couldn't throw it myself. Okay. There's other ways to throw it, like a 3-finger. Just separate your fingers a little bit and just throw it. I mean, it's just a good pitch to get something off speed, but the key is the same arm action, just not full intent. That makes sense? A curveball, I kind of talked about it. It's kids want to just jerk the thing just like that. Get them right away. Like I always said, if there's a bucket out in front of home plate, we're just spinning it down to that bucket. And then once they learn that concept of getting that rotation like this, then all it is really, instead of your fastball, we're just turning and pulling that shade down like this. So that's why I said kind of just experiment, spinning the baseball. And then you can start throwing it harder. When you get into high school, you should throw it hard. That's how, and you're going to know in high school, you're going to change it. I mean, kids kind of go, I don't recommend slider at a young age yet. Usually later, because that's a pitch that really is torque, a little more torque. You ever seen that slider is basically just, I could never throw a good one because I was high arm angle, but you're really karate chopping through. That's the difference in a slider and a curveball. You're 12-6, more like 2-8, or do something like that. So curveball, just have them work on that, just bouncing baseballs like that, and it gets the rotation done.
Do you have any pointers for like a cutter?
Yeah, it's just pressure on fingers. I can never really throw a good one. It's just trying to pressure this finger or that finger, put more pressure on that, and just point. That's what I was taught. But my cutter sucks, so. Cutter's a good pitch. It's a good pitch if you can get it and you can correct it.
Another one that's not bad when they're young, especially because on the circle change, it takes them a while to get the feel of that, is I do the horseshoe pitch or slip pitch or whatever. And so basically that is going there.
Yeah.
And then we're just throwing it like a football.
Yep.
And depending on your pressure, you're going to get a little cutting action one way or another. But it's slip pitch, especially young, smaller hands, that you just throw it like a football. There's no twisting, just throw it. And the harder you throw down, you're going to get a little tilt to it. So.
I think the last thing I was going to talk about is just with pitching, it's really hard to be a pitcher when you're young, 8 to 13. It's super hard because their emotions are really high. Mentally, it's hard. I mean, Ryan and I have talked about this. It's pitching is really hard at a young age. I would say like it's probably the easiest position to fail at because it's hard to throw strikes. So just know that as a coach and like know that they're not going to have their best days. It's going to happen, right? And we've all been there. And some days it's about confidence. It's about like trying to coach them up on like handling that failure and getting the next pitch. And the breathing techniques are good. But I think some pitchers have a really good mentality where nothing phases them and they go out there and they attack that hitter, they get in a groove and that's it. I would just say pitching, like really harp on the mental side of it. You have to like forget the past and their stats don't matter because everybody's like, well, I walked 6 guys and nobody cares. They don't care. Like I told you, like I mean, my son's ERA was like 27 when he was in 12, 13 years. Like he couldn't get out sometimes. So it gets better when they mature, when they get bigger, stronger, and they can sync up in their body. It's just sometimes it's really hard to sync up their body every single time. It's super hard. So some kids figure it out. Like Cal Jepson was a kid I coached. He figured it out. He's super athletic. 8'9". He was dialed in. He didn't miss strikes, right? But he just had the mentality. He could repeat his delivery because he's super athletic. So some kids are going to develop later, and that's just the case of it. And I think we just as coaches got to be patient and run kids out there and work with them mentally. I don't know if you guys have anything else on our mental approach.
No, I mean, mental's a huge part, obviously. And kids struggle with it. I don't care what phase it is, whether it's batting, hitting, you know, or pitching or fielding or whatever, the mental side, you know, it is tough and it's just next play. You just got to kind of hound that in a little bit.
I had a kid, I took him out once, he spiked the ball off the mound. That was awesome. I go, how are you feeling? Oh, it sucks. I suck. I take him out and he just goes like this. I'm like, you're done. His dad came and got him. It's not good. Yeah.
But it's a huge game of failure, you know, and that's what I love about it. So you gotta remember that and help them through that journey, you know. So you gotta try to help them through that also. So, you got anything else I was gonna touch real quick? Create, whether it's in the middle of the game or your starting pitcher is probably